boys and girls. I have a special message for you from the President of the United States.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings.
The War Crime Guide in our newsroom, and there has been an attempt, as perhaps you know now, on the life of President Kennedy.
The initial attack on the destroyer Maddox on August 2nd was repeated today.
Psychological warfare operations went into high gear.
In retaliation for this unprovoked attack on the high seas, our forces have struck the bases used by the North Vietnamese patrol craft.
It would allow the president to wage war in Vietnam.
Just running scared.
In 1976, Flight 455, which took off from Venezuela bound for Cuba, suddenly exploded. All 73 passengers and 5 crew members aboard died after the plane crashed near Barbados.
William Colby has been missing since April 27th. His canoe was found washed up on the banks of the Wicomico River April 28th.
He's missing and presumed drowned after an apparent boat.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad.
I've always felt the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Johnson.
All right, what is the Trilateral Commission? It's an organization founded in 1973 by David Rockefeller.
They're really up to is a scheme to plant their own loyal members in positions of power in this country, to work to erase national boundaries and create an international community, and in time bring about a one world government with David Rockefeller calling the shots.
I understand he was tapped for Skull and Bones.
Tapped for it? Sir, he founded Skull and Bones.
It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad.
We have got to fight and stand up. It's not going to be easy, but I'll assure you this. We can, and we will, and we must prevail.
From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
When I got started trying to promote Americana 25 years ago, I'd studied history, and I knew there were a lot of powerful forces in America that wanted to get rid of capitalism and get rid of the right to self-defense, the Second Amendment, and a lot of groups that didn't like the First Amendment. And I thought, well, I'll get politically involved. And 25 years later, 23 years later, after being on air for 23 years, I look back and I got to say I'm proud of the effect we've had in America and the world, relaunching nationalism, populism, capitalism, and really Americana. But I'm also really disappointed in the fact that I am one of the most prominent people in the world doing this, and that I've had such a big effect, when I know a lot of men and women who are super smart, very charming, very hardworking, but who've chosen to go along with the establishment because they think that that is a safer route. So the things I'm going to say to here and the breaking news you're going to see on this Saturday, the 19th of May, 2018, is vital. My sister is getting married in just about an hour, but I'm here because this is so important. My baby sister, I'm 14 years older than her. Marley is getting married today to a great guy. Just down the road from here. And that's why I'm fighting hard, because I care about her and my 4 children, my 3 daughters, my son. And I care about you. I care about myself too. But somebody's got to do this. Now, I've got a message for Robert Mueller. I've got a message for Hillary Clinton. I've got a message for Comey and Soros and all you spirit cookers. I've got a message for you guys, all you Crowleyites. Whose egos is only outpaced by the amount of evil you engage in. I've got a message for you coming up here in a few minutes. And I've got some big news I'm going to break down as well. And I've got exhibits here, not for the mainstream media that's going to twist this and lie about it, but for you who happen to be on Infowars.com or Newswars.com or on our Twitter, on our Facebook, on our YouTube, because you've got to be on the pages when we go live. They don't let the notifications go out to anybody. They don't, a very small percentage. We are being censored ahead of the big event that they've got set up for us. And so I'm going to lay out some exhibits here, because I don't just make these claims. I'm going to lay these out. First off, here's a McClatchy article from last year, 2017. You can pull it up. Just type in FBI-led investigative team examines role of conservative news sites in Russia campaign. And I'm going to get to that in a moment. These are the exhibits. That's from about 12 months ago, so middle of last year. And there's congressional hearings that go along with it. We've played the clips, the shocking clips. Here's one out of Reuters last night. Reuters last night. Exclusive. Special counsel subpoenas another Stone aide in Russia probe. It's actually 6. They grabbed 5 of them up off the street this week. We've talked to them, and that's the news you're about to hear. What was Mueller asking of the 5 we've talked to? 1 won't talk to us now. Roger Stone is with his lawyers in Miami as we speak. As soon as this live broadcast is over, I'm talking to him. We may do an emergency broadcast tonight. That's how serious the timing is, because it's all coming to a head, the whole Russiagate. But wait till you hear who they claim is the Russian mastermind. This is so Twilight Zone that sometimes I wonder, is this a video game, a simulation? Because this is crazy. Wait till I get to who they think the Russian mastermind is. But let me just stop right there. That's exhibit number 2. And then I've got other exhibits. We broke this last Sunday with Roger Stone on the Sunday show, but now the New York Times broke it today. FBI spy op exposed. Trump campaign infiltrated by longtime CIA MI6 asset, Cambridge professor Stefan Halper. That's another exhibit. Because unlike MSM, I'm not going to just sit here and tell you what I say is going on. I'm going to show you what they admit's happening. And then I've got Bruce Edward Ivins, a name Comey and Mueller hope you forget, and John P. O'Neill, another name they hope you forget, and then Michael R. Caputo. And then another article, Robert Mueller is an amoral legal assassin. He will do his job if you let him. This big report, we're going to get to that as well. That's just some of the research I did since I got the call at midnight last night, but I was asleep, so it's 6:30 in the morning. I was talking to Roger Stone, and I made some phone calls to the people, and they confirmed what he had told me. So I'm going to lay this out right now. For the average soulless corporate climber, having Robert Mueller breathing down your neck would be a really scary thing. And you would immediately try to grovel or roll over or find out how you could bend over to have him leave you alone. I'm a heat-seeking missile. I go towards the flag, towards the tyrants, because it's the mission I chose. If you're going to do this fight, it's the way it is. It's not heroic. It's self-preservation to fight people like this. America is about men and women supporting them, but it was about men fighting strong men, king rats. And I know at the end of the day, in the final equation, I'm on the right side of history because my soul, my spirit, my gut feels aligned with God. And that's the only master I'm serving. And I'm not some Bible-thumping fake hypocrite or viper here. I've got my own personal relationship with Jesus Christ, and that's my rock and where I stand and the focus of everything I do. Now, let me go ahead and give you the big news, and I've got my message from Mueller and Hillary and John McCain, all of them cursed, walking brain tumors. I'm not afraid of you guys. I'm afraid of, I guess the New Agers call it the Force, but it's God, the real power in this universe. So let me try to walk through this as best I can and really just try to be judicious about what I say here. Let me go to the first document that I raised here from McClatchy about 10 months ago, 12 months ago, whatever, you got to look at the date here, 2017. And what does it say? It says in the House Intelligence Committee and in the Senate Armed Services Committee, and then in the committees involved with elections, the big heavy hitters came in. And I was told about this at the time. And they said, we want Breitbart executives and we want Infowars executives indicted. And there were congressional hearings where they would have Board of Governor members of the FCC and others on saying Infowars is a Russian intelligence operation. No judge, no jury. Incredible defamation. And we want it shut down. And I've played those clips many times. But I noticed what mainstream media did. It was in Reuters, it was in McClatchy, but they would make jokes like, oh, Alex Jones claims he's being investigated by Mueller. It's in the McClatchy article. In fact, this is the first place that you learn about Cambridge Analytica, because they want Alex Jones investigated, they want Breitbart investigated, they want Roger Stone investigated, and they want Cambridge Analytica that you don't hear about for 9 months or 10 months later, first couple months of 2018. So this is the roadmap of McClatchy that was actually at the hearings. 4 different hearings, House and Senate. And imagine, I'm watching these clips later, and I'm like, they're just saying I'm a Russian agent. Imagine, I'm an American citizen, 110% patriotic. There's no connections to Russia here. I know that's BS. And I'm looking at this, and I'm saying this, but I'm going to get to the big announcement about Mueller investigating me here in a minute. But I want to just go over this because they think you're stupid as viewers. They think you don't have any memory, or they think you don't watch long videos. You watch like 2-minute videos on average. They don't. They're just going to say, "Oh, Jones claims Mueller's investigating him," because that elevates Infowars. They want to have the fake investigation go forward and just have me arrested or set up, and then it's like, "Oh, look at that traitor. He's going to jail." And I'm going to explain that whole program as well, because I want the establishment to know I'm aware of what they're doing. I mean, I've got the bird's eye view of this. But let me just go ahead and hurry through this. This is an article from almost a year ago where you've got the Democratic Party coming in and saying, we want Alex Jones shut down. and that there is an FBI investigation into us for espionage with the Russians. Okay, so we're almost a year later. What's happening now? In the last 4 days, 6 people associated with Roger Stone, who plays up that he's this big political operative, but the guy's really just a funny guy and interesting, and I've never seen anything politically he's done that's corrupt, actually. But he plays into the whole villain thing they push on him. And so they grab Michael R. Caputo, who worked for the Trump campaign. They grab a bunch of other people, and when they're in these meetings with them for 8 hours, 6 hours, 3 hours, the longest was 8 hours, they just keep going back to Alex Jones. So Alex Jones is kind of in charge of things. These are quotes. Alex Jones, does he talk to the Russians? Alex Jones, he's financing all this, right? He's paying for campaigns. He's giving people money. And they're like, we don't even know Alex Jones. Roger Stone is a commentator, just like he's been a paid commentator on Fox for 10 years. Not anymore, but we hear he's on the payroll at Infowars. Yeah, to give us analysis. But the FBI, under this whole Mueller, Clinton, Rosenstein, rogue government, off-the-rails group, they've grabbed 6 people off the street, Caputo and others, and the 5 that Stone's talked to and some I've talked to tell me that they're bringing up Infowars. They're bringing up Alex Jones. They're bringing up how much money we bring in or what we do or what we did during the campaign. Everything we did on the campaign was public. It was people guessed on the show or articles we wrote. We're like 100% transparent. Everybody knows that. So here's the big takeaway, however many minutes into this live transmission we are. Infowars, and yours truly, Alex Jones, is now one of the main focuses as they close in their own words, on Roger Stone saying they believe he's the kingpin. And now from the questions the FBI is asking these 5 people, 6 they grab, 1 won't talk to us or talk to Stone. They are literally trying to lay the predicate or the foundation that we are Russian agents. But if you read McClatchy from the hearings in Senate and House, they just point blank say we're Russian agents. It's like saying I'm Dr. Seuss. I'm not, but you could say I'm Muhammad Ali. I'm not, but they just say it. And they say the FBI and the CIA, if you watch these hearings, I've watched all 4 of them in horror, are tracking us for Russian espionage. They had a BuzzFeed article. No, it was Daily Beast article. It was BuzzFeed. Like on Wednesday saying, Jones is run from Switzerland because we got a reporter in Switzerland that uploads articles, and they've got software where they're like broke into our website and they even know where people upload from. I mean, that is how crazy this has gotten. There's no Russian anything. That we got a guy in Switzerland, runs EuropeWars.com, and he's uploading. So here's what I'm getting at. Leftists are all over my Twitter, Facebook, Infowars.com going, you're going to jail. Mueller's going to put your ass in prison for being a Russian. And I'm like, oh, yeah, last year and a half laughing at that. But I'm not even worried about me being put in jail. It's about our country where we've reached a point where they're just saying I'm a Russian agent in congressional hearings and then not showing where I'm a Russian agent. I start going, man, do I have multiple personalities? Like, am I really one? You know, I'm joking there, but it's how flimsy it is. And then you've got Mueller with uranium and tarmac deals to the Russians, and Hillary laundering hundreds of millions of dollars confirmed in her foundation, and 127 million or whatever from Uranium One deals. And you're like, I wasn't the Secretary of State that armed Al-Qaeda and ISIS. I'm not in bed with Russia. I've never been to Russia. And then you learn that it's focused in on Stone, and then in that focus, it's Infowars. I mean, that is just completely confirming what I already knew, that it's just totally, completely fake. And the left and the whore media, the corporate media, they know it's all a lie. It's all a big joke. They're like, yeah, we hope we can shut you down. We hope we can arrest you. When they've already delisted us from Google, and they lie about what we say, and they've got all these Clinton lawyers like Garagos and others suing us for made up stuff. And my lawyers are like, yeah, we're getting these cases thrown out. We don't even know why they're filing them because they're so bad. But I'm like, no. And now my lawyers agree. It's lie about me, demonize me, sue me, get my name all over the news at a level like it's wartime propaganda. Normally, you only see wartime propaganda like this when they're going to invade Iraq or they're going to invade Panama. I mean, when you're in thousands of articles a week, every major TV program saying lies about you, I don't mind the demonization because only the weak-minded buy into it. But clearly, here's the key. This is being done to politically and culturally assassinate my character and make me a bad guy so that people believe some incredible asinine thing that's about to happen. Joseph Goebbels, the chief Nazi propagandist, famously said to Hitler in letters that are public, it's the big lie theory, dumb the propaganda down, Fuhrer, leader, but also go over the top with the lie. If you're going to lie, make it so fantastical, so unbelievable that people have a blind spot for that. And if you say Alex Jones is a Russian agent and is the mastermind of the entire thing, because that's what I've gotten, is that they believe, and the FBI is now questioning people and saying, is Alex Jones the leader? And people say, I don't know Alex Jones. Or in the case of Caputo, I've been on a show one time. He's the talk show host. They're like, would it shock you if we have intelligence that Jones is a KGB agent? I mean, this is the level of just next level bonker land. But you see the Goebbels scenario goes so crazy, so over the top, that no one can even believe that they'd tell a lie so fantastical. So I was very clear about this with Roger and others. I said, so how much are they bringing me up? And it's like, depending on how long the interview is, you're one of the main focuses. And it's not about Russia, though. It's all like, how much money does he make? What's he pay Roger? What's he do? Do you know anything about, and by the way, most of these people, I think I've only ever talked about, from memory serves, Caputo, who came on just about the whole Russiagate thing like 6-8 months ago being a big joke. But this is the witch hunt of where this is reached, where I'm learning that they've grabbed these people off the street, grabbed them at airports, whatever, and in some cases they take them in for 8 hours and sweat them out, and the FBI tells them, give us something on Alex Jones. And the people go, I don't know him. We want him. We want him. Now, I know the average American hears that now that we're land of the castrated and goes, God, I better kiss the butt of Mueller because I don't want to end up like that. And that's what this is at one level, is just fear, to intimidate people because they think we're a nation of ostriches. You know, should we replace it, the American eagle, with an ostrich? But it's bigger than that. They are demonizing Infowars as the precedent to destroy real media, as the statute to say that they can preemptively shut down news and shut down info and deplatform it internet-wide, communist Chinese-style censorship. And even the CEO of News Corp 3 months ago in the Wall Street Journal said this: we're going to deplatform WikiLeaks and Alex Jones and ISIS. And once we've got acceptance of that, we're going to deplatform everybody, including Drudge Report. And once we've deplatformed them, then it'll just be 100 corporations or less. Well, he said 100 news sites. So that's what will be allowed on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, is approved news. And I even see people like Drudge Report backing away from us, and just everyone. Like, don't you guys get it that at Breitbart and Daily Caller and everywhere, once they get me, they're going to get you. And by the way, if I wanted to sell it to these guys, I would have done it a long time ago. I'm following this course to the end, and I'm proud of what I've done. I'm just ashamed that when push comes to shove down at the end of the line, people are playing it safe here. This is not the time to play it safe. Playing it safe is what leads you into total destruction. I mean, again, just last Sunday we broke that it was Cambridge professor Stefan Halper who was the so-called mole in the campaign, but there was no evidence of Russia stuff. He was trying to inject it. Now that's mainstream news. You got it linked on Infowars.com. Let me do this. Let me now go ahead and have a message to Robert Mueller, Hillary, and that whole cabal of people. Let me go ahead and have a message to them. But the big takeaway here is I've never gotten any Russian money. I've not been involved with the Russians, but we know what's happening. The globalists are the outside power. They're the people that have sold out the country. They're the people that were siphoning off our wealth and parlaying it into their own slave factories in China and India and Mexico. And they're the bad guys. And we said the election was being rigged and that the polls were fake, but Trump would still win. We talked about the smartphones watching and listening to you, decades. We talked about fluoride giving you cancer. That's now Harvard report. We are the real news, and we really care about people. We didn't side with the establishment. And so they think that if they can demonize us, lie about us, and have this wartime level propaganda demonizing Infowars and yours truly, that somehow that'll scare most people away from telling the truth, but also set the precedent to get rid of the Sean Hannitys and to get rid of the Rush Limbaughs and to get rid of the Matt Drudges and to get rid of, and all those people are great. It's just that they have to understand extremism in defense of liberty, to quote Barry Goldwater, extremism in defense of liberty is no vice. The globalists are extreme. Russiagate is fake and is extreme. The cowardice of the Justice Department and the Attorney General and all of this is the extreme, stagnant, rotting, fetid swamp that's taken over. And I can't believe how weak the globalists are that I'm one of their biggest threats. And that I'm the focused, dedicated, strong, like the North Star, rock. I thought other men were like me. But they really weren't actually. I remember growing up, even the biggest bully'd start some fight because they weighed 100 more pounds than you, but when their head was hitting the concrete, they weren't laughing anymore. And by the way, the FBI and all these other cowards know the truth. They've got my whole background. They know I don't talk crap. They know I don't write checks when I can't cash. I just know this. If I'm the last man standing, so be it. If I'm the last non-sellout, non-piece of crap that gave into the system, so be it. Because out of what we do here, just like the Alamo in 1836, will come the example to others that actually start acting like men. The average American out there is an incredibly strong person, whether they be old, young, black, white, male, female, you name it. They want liberty. They want strength. They're ready to stand up. But it's all the so-called smart people that sign on to all this cowardice that make me sick. So let me just say this. The globalists use modern society and its complexity to con people. They use it to hide their corruption within all the red tape and all the fine print. And because they're scum, they're the only people that will occupy that zone of corruption. And so that zone of corruption of dishonorable people is able to siphon off of the largesse of humanity and build a huge strata of really bad, wicked, psychotic, sociopathic, sadistic people who then start building new systems to expand their control even greater. But they always look at the honorable, strong, truthful people, and they feel defeated by it. So that's why they're always trying to extinguish freedom, even though they're the ones siphoning off the great largesse and the great treasure that freedom creates. They are siphoning it off. They are stealing it. They are transferring it. But they still seek to extinguish the light because it reminds them of what horribly fallen, cowardly people they are. So I chose my destiny. I chose to be honorable, to be strong, to be truthful. That means I don't make mistakes, because that was the right path. That's where I felt like I was in God's grace. I could feel the Spirit strong. I'm like a heat-seeking missile going after these people, because I'm really a heat-seeking missile going after God, going towards that Spirit. That's where I feel strong, empowered. The whole universe opens up. I just want to be with God. Doesn't mean my flesh isn't weaker. No, but I still want to be with God. And they know that, folks. They know. That's why they tell you I'm a liar or I'm corrupt or all this crap, because they know. And they know that I'm not that special. There are a lot of you out there who care about liberty and freedom as well. And that's why this message is to you, to understand how strong and beautiful and amazing you are. And just know it's always darkest before the dawn. And that we've already come so far together, and these cornered rats are weak. But the public and the establishment is even weaker. And that's what gives these bullies control. So stay the course. But my message to Robert Mueller, and my message to Hillary, and my message to Bill Clinton, and my message to George Soros and his son. God, half the photos of him online are at satanic rituals. How they flaunt it in our face. God almighty. I look in those people's eyes in those photos. It's every photo. They look so weak, so pathetic, so conquered, so gone, that I just think, God, I'm not you. And I watch the ass-kissing of the FBI all over national television and all over media, because everybody's so scared of the FBI that you'll get audited or you'll get set up or whatever if you don't kiss their ass. It's a corrupt, stinking Praetorian Guard in this country. It doesn't mean there aren't white hats in the FBI who deal with real issues and real crimes. They're certainly there, but they're compartmentalized and they're not in the power structure. The FBI trying to set me up, the FBI overtime, working on trying to find something wrong that I've done. My message is this to you. I'm not afraid. I'm not in a gang like you. I'm not trying to join the system. And the intimidation, the threats, all the stuff that's come the last 20 plus years has only made me a stronger advocate of freedom and has only confirmed what I already know. But my message is this to Robert Mueller. Robert, I know what you did in Vietnam. And I know that you were recruited by another agency. And I also know that John P. O'Neill was recruited by the CIA as well. And I understand that O'Neill was brought in on the plan to blow up the World Trade Centers and work with Saudi Arabia to do it. And I know he even gave speeches in England shortly before he died as the head of security for the World Trade Center. He died on 9/11. I know you were involved in the groups and the teams that destroyed the World Trade Center and that killed John P. O'Neill, former head of counterterrorism for the FBI. I know you're a killer. I know you were part of the teams that killed him that day and threw him into the wreckage. I also know that Bruce Edwards Ivins was the third patsy. One is known, the other not, the third known. And I remember in local news, he was grabbed and taken to the hospital and then forcibly fed Tylenol till he died. I noticed you guys had that expunged off the internet. So listen, if you'll kill an Army scientist and oversee it, I know you like to do the work yourself. And if you'll kill the head of counterterrorism at the FBI for what you do, believe me, I know you're a murderer. I know you're a cold-blooded killer. And I watch all these demons and sycophants worship you because they worship the dark altar of evil. But I don't worship that altar. I remember so much, You guys always talk about how many people you've killed and you're worshipped because you're so ruthless and so bad and so dishonorable. I already know all that. But I'll say this. I will never commit suicide. I don't take drugs. I will never eat 2 bottles of Tylenol, 3 or whatever. And you won't kill me like you did John P. O'Neill or Bruce Edwards Ivins. and then have the newspapers expunged off Google later that I died at home and they brought me to the hospital. You won't do that. You know, I've talked to the generals. I've talked to the people that were there. And I've talked to the folks that know everything you did. And, you know, I wanted America to heal. I wanted to move on from 9/11 to try to get Trump in and fix things. But here's the thing. You will never get away with the teams and organizations you're involved with that killed John P. O'Neill. You'll never do it. And you'll never get away with all that Tylenol 3 got shoved down the mouth of this poor guy, your third patsy. So know that. And you're part of an organized crime network that's been covering up for decades in this country. The narcotics trafficking, the child trafficking, all of it that Trump's fighting. And you guys are so pissed and you're so scared. And everybody thinks, oh, let's bring in our Marine Corps hero. Let's bring in our good guy, you know. Let's bring in our murderer. He'll intimidate everybody and they'll crap their pants because Robert Mueller, the big killer, is here. I mean, you were known in the LA Times and everywhere as a crook, as a liar, as a frame-up artist. And you know what your specialty is? You have people demonize somebody in the news, you attack them, you go after them, and then they die right before they're indicted or right after. So don't think I don't know the whole chain of events and the industrial Google censorship of Infowars and the media. Like I'm a foreign government you're about to invade. I am so proud that you're so weak that you think that by destroying me, you can somehow continue on. You're done. All over the world, populism spreading, all over the world, nationalism spreading, all your anti-family, cultural sabotage, crazy race war garbage is blowing up in your face. This is a historic time to be alive. And to Hillary, you are so demonically ugly. You're so twisted. You are such a caricature of a witch in all your crimes. And the fact that you people thought you would actually place her, and the fact that you think you'll beat me or Trump, that gives me a lot of solace. To know you people are so crazy, you thought you'd run that witch, or you thought John McCain was going to save you, or you thought any of this. You guys don't have to worry about me. You have to worry about the God of the universe. And I pray that real Christians and people really connected to God in the Spirit pray that Robert Mueller and Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and all of these people, that God deliver justice to them. God's justice. I wish no physical harm upon them, but God's real justice be brought on these people so they learn humility, so they learn real justice, so they learn the real power of the real God of the universe, not the God of this world they worship. I'll be honest with you. When I learned this morning at 6:30, and I started making phone calls and confirmed it, that I'm like half the questions that people are asking about Roger Stone, when I have zero to do with Russia and all this other garbage, I was very honored. I felt really strong. I felt God's Spirit get even stronger because I committed to God that I would take whatever came if he would just use me against these people, because I want to fight them for the innocence. My God, the deputy pope's under trial right now for over 100 kidnapped little boys, some of them found dead. They even just indicted the court clerk for herself secretly reading it. I mean, they're going to be brought down, folks. They're going to be brought down. We've got God on our side. This is providence. And thank God I'm not Vice Magazine promoting pedophilia or Salon promoting it. I mean, you people are sick. And so I'm all in. I just trust God completely. I'm almost guilty, but it's just the Spirit's so strong. I don't even pray to God to protect my children because God's going to do what God's going to do. I'm all in. That's what it means. There's no provisos. There's no backstops. There's no fine print with me, man. I'm all in. I'm 1,000% on the dotted line with Jesus Christ against you people, and that's it. And you know, that's why Hillary calls me a dark card. Because, folks, I love God. I love justice. I love children. I love little puppy dogs. I love green pastures. I love the stars at night. I love happiness. And that's why I won't sit here and watch a bunch of murderous monsters sit there and devour this country and launch the Arab Spring and murder millions of innocent people and put radical Islam in charge all over the Middle East to pave the way for the Arab invasion of Europe. I'm damn proud to be in this position, and I'm willing to take whatever licks I get. And if down the road they grab me and electroshock me and roll me out as a gibbering idiot, that's not me. My soul's gone. Don't let them ever demoralize you by telling them that I've turned against you or that I'm a liar or I'm not real or I'm an actor. That's why they put all that out, because they have to attack the real thing. But I want Robert Mueller to know something. You are the head of the deep state now. It was McCain. And I'm not going to say you've committed the ultimate sin and it's too late for you to accept Christ. But you will be destroyed. And you know it deep down. You are going to be destroyed for your crimes. And you have gone across that line. You have crossed that Rubicon. You have crossed over. And so you better get your soul ready to meet your maker. Because you're an old man now. 10 years is like 5 seconds. And when you die and your family buries you, you're going to be known as a failure and as a traitor and as an enemy of humanity and an enemy of truth. If I was you, I'd be getting yourself straight with God. You know 1,000% I'm not connected to Russians. You are. And the communist Chinese, your whole plan to sell this country out. Bruce Edwards Ivins died at the hospital after the FBI grabbed him. I read it in local papers at the time. I probably have it in one of these warehouses. I used to save all the articles. I saw him change articles, not correct them. You go to Wikipedia, it's all edited by these professors and people now. Bruce Ivins died at home or at the hospital, but we don't know. John P. O'Neill, CIA. Part of the war between the CIA and the FBI. He was CIA. He didn't want to blow up the World Trade Centers. He didn't want to do that. He had to die, and he did. And you know who was brought in? According to my sources, Mueller ran the whole operation, the explosives, everything. And I know the names of the feds. Hell, even WorldNet Daily got their receipts. Who were in Oklahoma City, said they were in Dallas. They weren't. They even interviewed the eyewitnesses, the cops, everybody, the cops you didn't kill. Well, that's it for this live transmission. I hope you all have a great Saturday night. I am feeling really good where I'm at. I feel lined up with God, and that's all that matters. No hesitation, no anxiety, no fear. I feel really good. And I wish others of you out there that keep looking for salvation with Hollywood, and personal power, or bigger house, any of that crap, that's not what's going to empower you. Getting lined up with God is. So the media has this tactic. It's like they said they were wiretapping and spying on Trump in the election, then they said they weren't. Now they say they are. Now it's back in CNN today saying, Trump's crazy. Nobody spied on him. Halpern didn't spy on him, even though it's all admitted. They do this thing where, Jones claims he's being spied on by Mueller. You're not important enough, Jones. But we hope you get arrested. And people say, why do I care about the prodigal sons and daughters? Because it's about their psyches. It's about their souls. You leftists signed on to this thing, and all you other cowards, you don't get anything out of this power structure. Why would you want to be part of any of this? Roger Stone's going to join me tomorrow during the 4 to 6 p.m. radio/TV transmission I've been doing for 10 years, the Sunday show. We'll probably have other live emergency broadcast. Here's the other angle. They're going to grab him soon and put an ankle bracelet on him like Manafort so he can't talk to the public. That will be part of what the judge says. But that's coming. And it's just all an attempt Of course, none of it has to do with Russia now. It all has to do with tax returns or campaign finance. And I'll never forget, about 2 years ago, the Young Turks debated Dinesh D'Souza after he got out of prison after 9 months for getting 5 of his friends to donate, not sign the right PAC form. And I remember watching the Young Turks, whose name means genocide of Christians, attack him and say, you deserved prison. You deserved it when Hillary launders hundreds of millions of dollars. And I'm just saying, these are a ravenous group of authoritarians. They don't honor a country. They don't honor a strong system. They don't want protections for their kids. They want power now, just like all the main Muslims do. That's why the left's allied with them, because they just don't have any mooring. Hillary is broken. The globalists can't put themselves back together. Their whole blue wave is faltering and falling apart. Their election fraud is disintegrating. Their alliance with MS-13 to carry out criminal assassinations has been exposed. And the patriots in our military and government know what's going on, and they're just pragmatists. They don't hate America. They don't want to deliver us into total globalist control. Owen Schroyer, come in here, my friend. I love that guy. His will is so strong. You feel his spirit. Let me tell you, the great thing in this great journey, I got to go to my sister's wedding. Are you going tonight? No. You don't have to go. The point is that you just got back from the mass shooting. I just learned that they scooped 6 people off the street, and one of their main focuses is us. I'm going to let you take this chair. I'm going to let you take over about 10 minutes. Okay. And I'm actually proud of that because, I mean, we know it's pure crap, but it's just the media demonization campaign, the boycotting, the censorship, it's all preparing me for the next level of the crucible. And I asked for this, and I'm not putting a good face on it. I can't believe how I have never felt, it's beyond feeling the chutzpah of it being a younger man or the bravado. I've just, there's no drug on earth like this. I feel honorable. Does that make sense? I want you to take over here because I've been talking for 30, 40 minutes and I got to go to this wedding, but I've got all these things here. We just learned that they intend to basically put me in prison.
Well, let me just say this though, Alex.
Now take over.
We haven't. All right.
Talk about what you just.
Wasn't expecting this.
I
look like a crumb bum.
You just got back. You did an incredible job down in Santa Fe.
Thank
talk
you.
about take over 15 minutes.
Well, I just want to say that.
Zimmerman, you good for 15 minutes? Hey, I love you guys. God bless you. Pray for Infowars. Please try to support us. I think this thing will probably stall out, but they're going for broke. The corner rats. Go ahead.
Well, and when I was out there yesterday on the scene, we've got a bunch of HD footage that will go up on the Alex Jones YouTube channel today that was from after the vigil. And what was amazing to me is a lot of people saw the one video where there was a young lady that was getting in my face and upset about me being there, upset about Infowars' presence there. You know, she said Alex is a liar, this, that, and the other thing. And I was trying to be polite, you know, at the scene here. We're talking about a vigil for dead children. A lot of people upset, obviously. So, you know, I wasn't going there to confront anybody like that. I was just trying to get people's opinions. And she gets in my face and she started talking bad about Alex. And I'm just like, you know, why are you doing this? But that was only one individual. Most people were glad that Infowars were there. Most people were happy that we were there. In fact, there's one lady, the writers are working on a story of one of the victims of the shooting yesterday. The writers are going to work on a story. A young man, Chris, a handsome young man, had a great future ahead of him, was cut down before he could get to his prime. And we're going to write a story about him. So it was amazing to me that even if I'm just there to cover an event, like I'm not there to give politics, I'm not there to talk about Trump or anything like that. Just Infowars being there is like they can't have it. Like it's
because here's the deal: we've been demonized, and we're the enemy. We're restoring the country. We're winning, and so they've told their minions that we're the enemy. That's why they have alerted them into total civil war.
I'm at a bar last night afterwards, and one of the bartenders knows who I am, and the bartender who's helping me, she walks over to him and she whispers in his ear. She's like, "Oh, that's Owen from Infowars." Blah, blah, blah. And I didn't have, my name is not actually on my card. My real name is on my card. And so she comes over and she says my name. I'm like, "Oh, how did you know my name?" She's like, "Well, what are you talking about?" I'm like, "He just told you my name. He was talking trash on me." She's like, "Nuh-uh." And I'm like, "How did you know my name?" Because it doesn't say my name on the card that she had.
Here's the deal. It's the Streisand effect. Just like they bet against Trump, this is going to boomerang. This is going to defeat them.
And I think that the more they push us away, like the more they try to censor us, like the Streisand effect, like Alex is talking about, the more that they try to demonize us, the more people are going to be curious about what we do.
Your name is Owen Schroyer. You had a company car.
No, I had my real name is Owen Schroyer is my real name, but my first name is on my card. So my first name Schroyer was on my card, and so Owen is not on my card. That's my middle name, so that's what I go by. So there's no way she would have known my name was Owen, but I knew that the bartender went over and was like, "Oh, that's Owen." She was nice, but you could tell the other bartender was like, "Oh, he's a bad guy, you don't serve him."
But girls like bad guys.
I found that out the easy way, if you will. But most of the people at the vigil last night were glad Infowars were there. They were shaking my hand. They were like, "Thank you guys for standing up for the truth."
Propaganda war's losing.
So it's amazing to me. Every time I go out on the road, every time I meet new people, it's just unbelievable. I mean, there's some people that I get to see multiple times when we're covering events, and they even basically give us free security. They're like, "Hey, we're going to watch your back. We're going to make sure that you're safe here." And I mean, it's just amazing to see that camaraderie organically, where I can just go to a scene and cover news, and there's going to be info warriors out there that are like, "Hey, I got your back. We'll make sure that everything is safe here. We're going to make sure everything works out." But aside from the one negative, the lady last night, and I feel bad for her. She's going through a hard time. She's not my enemy. I feel bad for her. But other than that, everybody else was glad we were there. Everybody else was talking to us, shaking our hands, saying, "We love what you do." In fact, I won't go too into it because I don't want to out any of the leaders of the vigil, but a few of the leaders of the vigil that were leading the prayer and that are, heads of the community there actually, came up to me and shook my hand and said, "We really love what Infowars is doing. Tell Alex, thank you. Tell Alex we love him. We have his back." So this is really, this is beyond Infowars. We are Infowars, so we deal with Infowars and everything that comes with being Infowars and reporting for Infowars. But this is really beyond Infowars. This is just America coming together in the face of being told, "Hey, you're black, you're white, you're different, you're supposed to hate each other. Hey, you're Democrat, you're Republican, you're supposed to hate each other." I think that we've gotten to this point of polarization so much that naturally it starts to come back together. Like naturally people are starting to come back together because the polarization has gotten to a peak. So naturally now people are just coming back together. And a shooting with 10 dead kids and many others wounded. That was one of the toughest things that I've ever had to cover. And I've been in the middle of Ferguson when they're throwing tear gas and hitting sound wave, weapons and stuff like that. I've been to the side of explosions in Austin. I've been in the middle of a Trump protest where everybody hates me. But that, being at that scene yesterday, seeing the people, seeing the community, seeing the grief was one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do. But then also seeing the camaraderie, seeing the people come together, seeing the community be there for one another in just like a snap. It took 10 hours for this community, the entire Santa Fe community, to organize this vigil, and they had 1,000 people out there. And I talked to locals that said they've never seen anything like that in Santa Fe. They've never seen people come together like that. So I think Americans are coming together, and I think that the panic that you're seeing with them wanting to demonize us, the panic that you're seeing, you have the Democrats, they're having an idea summit. They don't even have an idea. They don't even know what they're going to do. The Trump hatred isn't working. The proposal to raise your taxes is not popular. I know, shocking, right? The Democrats want to raise your taxes. They realize that's not popular. So what is going to happen? Is the Democrat Party going to die? And what are they going to do in their final death battle? Same thing can be applied to the globalists and the deep state. They're in their final death throes right now. They're in their final death battle. And that's why, unfortunately, I think maybe we might see even more shootings. There was a shooting at a college yesterday, Mount Zion, I think. I don't have the story in front of me. I'm going off of memory here. But, this is actually incredible. And we're going to go back and probably have to pull this audio because if you're a regular listener of the Alex Jones Show and the War Room, we had a caller calling in. He'd call in as Benjamin, and then the next day he'd call in as Franklin. I think he called in 5 times as either Benjamin or Franklin, and he told us that he had intel. Folks, we get the real intel, folks, okay? Believe me, we have real sources here, and he told me off air, he said, they're planning a school shooting at a college graduation, Owen. He said they're doing it. I have the intel, and he wouldn't get more into it. Unfortunately, I tried to get more out of him. And he said it's going to happen at Howard University. Now, it didn't happen at Howard, but he also told me, and this is why we're going to pull the tapes, because I dated all these calls to see what would happen. He said if they don't pull it off at Howard, they're going to pull it off at another college graduation. And then sure enough, at Mount Zion, there was a shooting. Now, again, I don't have the news story in front of me. I'm just kind of going off the raw information that I had in my head last night. So this is what we have to expect in the final battle here. And hopefully we can get rid of the deep state. Now, Trump is going to go down as probably the best president in modern history. I mean, you compare him to what? Carter, Bush, Obama. I mean, it's not even close. Clinton, Trump mops the floor with them. President Trump. It's not even close. So Trump, he will go down as the greatest president in modern day history. At least that's the pace he's on right now. Where he goes for all-time presidents, time will only tell. But I'm hoping right now that Sessions DOJ, that seems to be compromised, seems to be asleep at the wheel, is really just playing possum. I hope that Trump has a plan to arrest Hillary Clinton, to bring the Obama administration to justice with the Lois Lerners and the Loretta Lynches, because that's what we really need. These people need to be taught a lesson that no one is above the law. And I thought that's what we put Nixon, we forced Nixon's impeachment, because no one is above the law. So if no one is above the law, then Hillary Clinton will be locked up. And I hope that that's what happens. But regardless, just to bring this home, as much hate as I get, as much vitriol as we get here, we get actually more love. We get more support and we get more love, where I can go to an event and I may get one or two haters just at any event. Most of the people like us. Most of the people appreciate us. Most of the people want to say, we love you. We're praying for you. We have your back. Please keep spreading the truth. And that was the case yesterday in Santa Fe. Now, because that's kind of been on my mind, obviously, with all the coverage I did of that yesterday, I will say this. I just hope that in wake of these school shootings, that we have somebody that actually commits to stopping them. And I'm not trying to be insensitive, and I'm not trying to say that, anybody did anything wrong here. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about for future reference here. Whether we like it or not, whether this sounds good or not, the first thing that we need to do if we really want to stop school shootings from happening is putting armed guards at school. Period. And I know that there were armed guards at the school yesterday, and apparently this was still able to happen. The details will emerge on that. But whatever it was, it obviously wasn't enough, and it obviously failed. But the next school shooter already has his guns, and any gun legislation that you want to propose or try to pass is going to take months, if not years, and it's probably illegal anyway. So unfortunately, and it is unfortunate, we have reached this point now where you have to consider having heavy armed security at schools, because we've reached such a low point in this country of mental health and psychological health that you have individuals that are so sick and psychotic that they want to kill people. Now, I have multiple interviews that are going to go up on Alex Jones' YouTube channel today of students that knew the shooter that said they were shocked. He seemed like a normal guy other than some weird intricacies here and there. He had friends. He was on the football team. He didn't seem like the kind of guy that would go and do this. So it makes you wonder, what leads to something like this? I've also got feelers out with a what was the guy? A clerk or some government. I can't remember what it was, but someone up high in the government in the Galveston district who said he's working on getting the details right now about whether or not the shooter was on psychotropic drugs. And I was talking to him last night, and I was like, what are the odds, right? About 90%, probably 100% that that's the case. So he's going to get that information for me, and we can find out. So maybe, again, so we need to start looking at what's causing this. It's psychological issues, these pharmaceutical drugs that they even have the warnings on the label that say, may cause you to be suicidal, violent thoughts or whatever. But let's not forget, people want to say that this is out there, but let's not forget that we had leaked government documents talk about how they can manipulate your mind and control your mind and even your body with the cell phone waves. That's a leaked document. So you got that going on. You know about the MK Ultra. So there's these other aspects of this that seem dark and twisted, but are still real and are still there. And the discussion needs to be had about that too. But that's a side issue. I'm not even sure what Alex was talking about today. I just came in. I was returning the work vehicle, returning some of the equipment that we were using yesterday. And I'll just say this in closing because I've got Comey and Mueller bungled the anthrax case right here. And I'm actually doing more research on this. But Robert Mueller obviously was involved in the September 11th, what do you want to say, failure. I was seeing if there's any stories on that in there. So think about that. And I'm working on getting more details of this. But it was Robert Mueller's FBI that was so compartmentalized and wouldn't allow people to talk to one another and share information and details they had that could have stopped the 9/11 terror attacks. That was Robert Mueller's FBI. So why does nobody talk about that? And why is Mueller lifted up as some hero who, in my opinion, is a zero and failed this country on September 11th, 2001? Or, if you want to go even farther, stood down. But that's a story that I'm working on right now, and I think I'm going to cover Monday on the War Room. So I'm going to sign off. Michael Zimmerman coming up here, working extra hours on weekends. Drew and I were working all day yesterday out in the hot summer heat. Drew was running 3 cameras at once. So this is the type of work we do at Infowars. We put it all on the line. There's Michael Zimmerman right there. Give him a shout out. And please support us at InfoWarsStore.com. I came in today, like I said, I was just returning equipment. I look like a crumb bum. I'm in a T-shirt and flip-flops and shorts here, but I was happy to sit down and have fill in for Alex here as we sign off. But understand that Alex's drive and Alex's momentum is all going towards bigger, more content, more streams, more live shows, more studios, more crew. That's where Alex's drive is. That's where Alex's momentum is right now. But it's only possible with your support at InfoWarsStore.com. And you have been supporting us. I mean, it's incredible. Again, I go out to the event in Santa Fe. I've got dozens of people wearing InfoWars shirts. They come up to me. They say, we love the Brain Force. It makes my day go by easier. It makes me able to get through work easier. I love the nascent iodine. It changed my life. It's a great product. So, but it's incredible with the amazing support we do have at InfoWarsStore.com, how just a 10th of a degree or a 20th of a degree more would just send us just blasting off through the stratosphere, where it's crazy, but we could fund everything just by selling toothpaste. If everybody that ever watched the Alex Jones Show, if everybody that watched the War Room, if everybody that watched The Real News with David Knight, if everybody that loved Infowars just bought our toothpaste, everybody uses toothpaste. If everybody just bought our toothpaste, that is like kryptonite for CNN and MSNBC. That is kryptonite for the globalists and the deep state that want to shut us down. Kryptonite to the Democrats that call for us to be shut down. The fact that we can be funded off a bottle of toothpaste that happens to be the best toothpaste on earth, that is kryptonite to them. But that's what Alex Jones has set up. So please support us at InfoWarsStore.com. You'll see more live broadcast. You'll see more of this studio. You'll see more of the studio that we're building over there that's like next generation, ahead of time, that we've just kind of given you hints on so far. So that's what Infowars has in store for the future. It's all possible with your support at InfoWarsStore.com. And I salute you. I salute all the Info Warriors out there that pray for us every day, that support us at InfoWarsStore.com, that shake my hand and want to meet me when I go out on the events. And I salute the great crew here. The crew's amazing, and it's just getting better. It's just getting better, and it's all thanks to your support at InfoWarsStore.com, and it's all thanks to God as well, because at the end of the day, it's His will that's going to be done, whether that be in Israel or whether that be with President Trump. So for Alex Jones, for Michael Zimmerman, for the entire Infowars crew, Owen Troyer here signing off. Special Saturday live broadcast. We'll be back. Alex will be back tomorrow, 4 to 6 p.m. Central with the Sunday Alex Jones Show. And then we're back to our 10 hours a day live programming at Infowars.com/show. So I salute you. thoughts and prayers to everybody in Santa Fe. They're going through miserable events out there, and I hope that community can come together and those children can go back to school and have things normal again. And we just hope we don't have to deal with that stuff again. And we also hope that we don't have to have our free speech shut down. So these are some of the issues we deal with. This is what we're dealing with. And we'll have it all tomorrow. Alex Jones will be talking about it 4 to 6 p.m. Central. Maybe we'll have some of the HD footage that we shot yesterday at the Vigil available for you then too. And then again, Monday, 8 a.m., David Knight, 11 a.m., Alex Jones, 3 p.m., myself and Roger Stone with the War Room. So we're signing off for Alex Jones, for Michael Zimmerman. I'm Owen Schroyer. You have a great weekend, Info Warriors.
Hello, boys and girls. I have a special message for you from the President of the United States.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings.
The War Crime Guide in our newsroom, and there has been an attempt, as perhaps you know now, on the life of President Kennedy.
The initial attack on the destroyer Maddox on August 2nd was repeated today.
Psychological warfare operations went into high gear.
In retaliation for this unprovoked attack on the high seas, our forces have struck the bases used by the North Vietnamese patrol craft.
It would allow the president to wage war in Vietnam.
Just running scared.
In 1976, Flight 455, which took off from Venezuela bound for Cuba, suddenly exploded. All 73 passengers and 5 crew members aboard died after the plane crashed near Barbados.
William Colby has been missing since April 27th. His canoe was found washed up on the banks of the Wicomico River April 28th.
He's missing and presumed drowned after an apparent boat. I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad.
I've always felt the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
That's gospel. All right, what is the Trilateral Commission? It's an organization founded in 1973 by David Rockefeller.
They're really up to is a scheme to plant their own loyal members in positions of power in this country, to work to erase national boundaries and create an international community, and in time bring about a one world government with David Rockefeller calling the shots.
I understand he was tapped for Skull and Bones.
Tapped for it? Sir, he founded Skull and Bones.
It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad.
We have got to fight and stand up. It's not going to be easy. But I'll assure you this. We can, and we will, and we must prevail.
From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.